Hi, my name is Annie Ryan, and I'm a junior at the University of Oklahoma and a cadet in the Army ROTC program. For one of our assignments, I was instructed to read Emotional Intelligence 2.0 and give a brief review over it on this video. So, to give you a little tidbit, Emotional Intelligence 2.0 is about ways that you can control your emotions in order to build better relationships and to understand people better. So, Travis Bradbury and John Greaves give you 4 skills with various tactics that you can use in order to increase your emotional intelligence. So the first skill that we're going to discuss is self-awareness. Bradbury defines this as to know yourself as you really are. In the book, he discusses that it's rather unsettling to think about who you are on a deeper level as opposed to just knowing that you're a morning person or you're a night person. But that knowing who you are is a continuous journey that you will have to continue throughout your life as you grow and develop into who you want to become. I scored a 75 in this section, and I think that that's a really good basis for where I am, especially after being able to pick the tactics that I want to use to become a more emotionally intelligent person. So the first tactic that I thought was most important was the ripple effect. So Bradbury discussed how when you drop a stone into a pond, it doesn't just sink, it starts to cause a ripple, and it goes on and so forth. So when we walk in and we let our emotions get the best of us, it affects those around us. So in some cases it can behoove us and we can walk in with excitement and really just have an impact on the room and how we want to foster the environment. But other times we walk in and we lash out at someone or we are just angry and the mood carries on throughout the group. So he talks about knowing those emotions and identifying them can help you realize like this is going to cause this effect and prevent that from happening. Piggybacking off of that, the next tactic that I thought was really prevalent was to check yourself. So a lot of us understand that first topic, and it's easy to see that like one's emotions can cause other people to feel a certain way, but I don't think very often people check themselves and realize and stop themselves before it causes those problems. So in some environments, when you're wanting to foster a positive environment, you can go in happy face, full of excitement, high energy, and cause the others around you to feel that way. But, like we said, lashing out and doing the opposite can cause problems. So checking yourself and realizing how you're going to walk in there can completely change your environment and shows a very high level of emotional intelligence. So the last tactic that I thought was most prevalent was to know who and what pushes you. Bradbury discussed that we all have those people that we know rub us the wrong way or those things that happen to us that just really irk us, whether it's self-interception or traffic. To know what sets us off is going to make us a stronger and more emotionally intelligent person. So the next skill that I'm going to go into is that of self-management, which is defined in the book as the ability to use awareness of your emotions to actively choose what you say and do. It's important to be aware of this because this is a skill that builds off of self-awareness. When you understand your emotions, Bradbury suggests that it's easier to respond productively. So instead of not understanding our emotions and letting them overcome and just react instantaneously, if we take the time to understand what's happening and process all of these things, it'll be easier to be more flexible and adaptable. So the first tactic that I'm going to discuss for self-management is going to be that of putting a mental recharge into your schedule. So Bradbury discussed how most people don't know how much rest the brain actually needs and that physical activity and getting your heart rate up can actually very much so benefit your self-management skills. So whether that be an intense workout, going for a walk, or getting a massage, he argues that these are the ways that you can help your brain to relax and to recuperate from a week of stressful work or just being on top of the game all the time. My next point is also going to be to smile and laugh more. So I think it's very easy when people are stressed or under harsh conditions to just be so focused on what their mission is to not take the time to laugh about a joke or to smile at someone you know, but it's been proven that smiling can increase your levels of happiness. So just taking the time to smile, even if you don't feel it, can greatly affect and benefit you and your self-management. And the last tactic that I'm going to try to implement from Bradburys Points is to take control of self-talk. So I think it's very easy to passively say, oh, like I'm such an idiot, I can't believe I forgot to do that. But those thoughts that we have all day long can easily set a path in your mind or control a mindset to make you to where you are thinking negatively about yourself or thinking that you can't do something. So being more positive about your self-talk and saying like, hey, I know you can do this. Like, you can go run 5 miles, or you can go get a good workout in before you go to work. Like, it's just all about how you perceive things. So if you're in your head telling yourself that you can't and you have all these desires, it's not going to point you in the direction that you want to be heading. So on my self-management, I scored a 71, so I definitely have room for improvement there. And I think by implementing these 3 tactics, I think it'll be very easy for me to start self-managing better and utilizing the most out of these strategies. So the next skill that is in the book is that of social awareness. So I scored very highly on social awareness with an 85. I have found that has been one of my strengths, and so reading these tactics, I feel like I can improve even more from there. But it's defined as a skill to use and recognize to understand the moods of others. So while these previous skills have been more self-implemented, this skill is definitely more based on perceiving others and their moods and their actions, and just taking notes from that in order to better your reactions with them and your interactions with these people. So the first tactic of social awareness that I'm going to start implementing more is going to be that of greeting people by name. The book discusses how greeting someone by name is influential. It shows them that you care enough to remember their name, and it just promotes a relationship between the two that's on a better level than just passing someone and disregarding their name and just saying, hey, how are you? So that's something that I have never tried to do, not attempted to do, and I think that can really help better my relationships. The second tactic that I chose from the book that I think is really important is that of body language. So reading someone's body language can tell you exactly how their day is going. You know, when you see someone with their arms crossed, with a scowl on their face, you know that their day's going well, or something put them off. Taking the time to notice that and just being socially aware, so when you talk to someone, you can understand, like, hey, they're not going to give you the response of, like, telling them you got a good grade on a test, but just realizing that and making your decision based off discussion through that. So the final tactic from social awareness that I'm going to start using more is piggybacking off of body language of timing. So when you are wanting to get out of class early and you see your instructor who's harping on somebody for not showing up to class, it's probably the wrong time to do so. And just utilizing people's body language and their emotions, or hearing what's going on with their day before you walk up and ask them, hey, what did you get on this test? And you see that they're already distraught. Like, if they got a bad grade on the test, you're not going to get a positive reaction. And I thought it was important that he shows, like, there are some questions that you can ask when you see these people in a way to help them, instead of, you know, promoting your own agenda, but trying to help and take care of them and be more socially aware. So the final skill in Emotional Intelligence 2.0 is that of relationship management, which really just piggybacks off of the first 3. It's tapping into using self-awareness to notice feelings, using self-management to express feelings, and using social awareness to better understand other people's feelings and act accordingly. There are 3 tactics that I chose that I thought really stood out amongst the others, and the first one being of when you care, show it. I think that we all live such fast-paced lives right now. Bradbury stressed that taking the time to show someone that you're grateful for them or doing a small act of kindness can really go a long way. And when you are trying to build a relationship and manage them, doing things for the people you care about, the small things can add up and just make such great points in your relationship. The second tactic that I'm really going to emphasize is that of acknowledging other people's feelings. It's also very easy to ignore people's feelings because we're uncomfortable to talk about it or feel like we're going to make them uncomfortable, but utilizing our communication so that they know that we care about them and that we are hoping for the best and trying to help them can really help manage these relationships and show them that we care. The last tactic that I really think should be implemented by all people is to remember the little things that pack a punch. So kind of going into when you care, show it. Something so much as writing a little sticky note and saying you're doing great, or bringing coffee to someone who's stayed up all night. Like, these little things Bradbury harped on really mean a lot to people, and just doing these small things will help build relationships and honestly just make people feel better. So wrapping up on my review of Emotional Intelligence 2.0, I can truly say that this book has taught me so much in the small ways that we can incorporate these tactics to change our relationships, to become more emotionally intelligent, and just to change the overall quality of our lives. Implementing these things are not hard, they're not difficult, but they do take time, and as the book says, if you try to do them all at once, you'll forget and they won't be implemented to their best. So I'm going to pick these tactics that I've shared with you to try to really dial in and focus on and hopefully become a more emotionally intelligent person.